All right, so the new banner for May 7th, right? May 7th was
I think
released
so, yeah.
today, and I just want to do a quick video on it with my friend Sam here, who's going to be doing most of the analysis of these four new characters. So let's just watch the video that was released by Nintendo today, like what, 15 minutes ago? So here we go.
I am Dimitri Alexandra Blathid. Everything has been taken from me.
Alright, I'm just gonna stop it right here then for the let's see, the skills. So what are we looking at here, Sam? What are we
You're just
at?
looking at a player phase freaking madman. He's probably gonna play very similarly to his what is his legendary version, because he does have Odd Tempest, which gives him more mobility on odd turns, and he seems to be focused on speed compared to his brave self, which is defensive focused. But it is kind of concerning that he also has the ability Canto, which allows him to move after he attacks. So he's probably going to be a super hard red counter, or anything counter actually. He's probably going to just kill everyone in his turn if you try to tank him. But he does not have distant counter, so your best bet is to nuke the crap out of him if you're trying to counter him. But he's probably going to get rid of that Glimmer special and go for Gale Force instead, because he seems to be super fast. If you combo that with Heavy Blade or Flashing Blade, he can turn into like a physical nuke. Yeah, but he's gonna be a very scary blue unit, but he doesn't have a lot of variation from how his other colors are.
So basically, right now we're having a new weapon here, right? The Vengeful Lance and then the Murderous Lion skill. Are the two new ones, right?
It is not as scary as you'd expect it to be, because it says if unit is not adjacent to an ally, grants attack speed +6 during combat, so that's basically attack speed solo 3, and if his attack is higher than your defense, the enemy unit cannot make a follow-up attack, and deals 50%. Oh shit, that's a lot. Okay, so he's basically has Atrocity, which is his unique B skill in his legendary form, onto his weapon, which means that he's gonna have super high damage output. And when combined with Murderous Lion, which basically makes you unable to counterattack him, he's gonna wipe the floor with you. So yeah, very scary. You probably do not want to tank him because he has a lot of mobility, and he can hit and run you because of the Canto skill that's attached to his B skill. Very scary.
What is your thought on replacing the A skill with distant counter?
I don't know. This guy seems to want to go all ham on player phase and try to take out as many units as he can, because distant counter makes him want to play defensively, which is not what this build seems to be, because all the skills that are gearing him towards being a monster on the phase that he can move around and just wreak havoc, especially if you take into consideration on modes like Arena or Aether Raids, where losing a unit is like a death sentence for your run. This guy seems to fully go only offense, no defense. I'm pretty sure he can tank a lot of hits, but he doesn't have any damage reduction skills, which will probably help. If you want to counter him, if you're with a green mage or someone. But chances are, if you try to tank this guy, you're gonna lose a unit.
Alright, sounds good. Alright, let's just go on to the next one then. This looks really awesome.
Don't struggle.
Alright, so we got Morgan.
Naga. That damned dragon has no right meddling with my heart.
And then here we go, the skills.
Okay, so there's two Morgans on this banner, the male Morgan and the female Morgan, and male Morgan is a red mage, whereas female Morgan is a green axe unit. As an infantry unit, they both have very similar playstyles, as in they both want to calculate their bonuses and the enemy's penalties And when those numbers add up together to a certain total, they're granted benefits, or basically more buffs during combat. So, as you can see, this freaking long-ass weapon description, it calculates based on the buffs that Morgan has and the debuffs that the foe has, and the higher that number reaches, the more benefits Morgan receives on his turn. Seeing as how he has attack res solo 4, he's probably gonna, I don't know if he's gonna be speed focused at all. He seems to be min-maxing attack and res to be a menace for in his ability to tank magic, and he also seems to be focusing a lot of the debuffs, especially when you take into consideration his B skill and C skill, because sabotage defense is based on how high his resistance stat is, and the only way you're gonna get any mileage out of that skill is if your resistance is high. Yeah. So he's probably gonna have a lot of resistance. So yeah, he's gonna be focusing a lot on column-based debuffs when you're trying to engage on him, and as long as he gets debuffs on you and he has buffs on himself, he's gonna basically wipe the floor with you, because he prevents follow-up attacks, and he also inflicts, as it says, special cooldown charge -1 on your opponent. So you're not going to be able to build up any special charge when you're getting attacked by this guy. A good way to counter him probably is if you have any unity skills and attack res especially that Winter Altina has. Basically it nullifies any debuffs that you get on attack and resistance. Or if you have any null follow-up 3 skills, it'll be a good way to counter this guy, because null follow-up 3 is probably one of the best skills in the game. It just completely negates any chance of following up attack, anything that prevents follow-up attacks or guarantees them. That being said, you probably don't want to tank this guy, because he's still going to hit pretty hard. But if you plan on to, you probably want to go in with a blue unit with high resistance and attack. Anything that's green will probably be absolutely demolished, whether they have a lot of resistance or not, just judging by this guy's kit. And attack res menace seems to be a new line of skills that are coming up that are similar to the threatened skills. Okay. But they have much more increased range, especially since it says 4 spaces, and they grant a lot more buffs compared to the other ones, which is +6 for 1 turn. So yeah, pretty scary red mage unit, but he is not as scary as Dimitri, because this guy does not have a lot of mobility, it seems. And he can be countered if you have a high res blue mage unit like Micaiah or Guinevere. Okay. So pretty standard, not anything too insane, but yeah.
All right, sounds good. Let's go into the next Morgan then. Let's look at his animation.
Any punishment you see fit.
Just showing off killing a blue mage. That's a red.
Master Grima, I'll never betray you. I'll stay by your side no matter what form you take.
Alright, so here we go. These are the skills.
So, as I said earlier, with Red Morgan, female Morgan, which is a green axe unit, probably plays around the same way, where she needs to get debuffs on the enemy in order to fully take advantage of her kit. Unlike Morgan, though, she aims to basically take out your defense because she's an axe unit. And she also has one of the more rarer skills in the game, which is Dive Bomb 3, which is only available on Pirate Tibarn right now. But it basically guarantees a double attack if you engage above 80% health. That being said, she does not seem as scary as Morgan, because first of all, by virtue of being a melee unit, your range is 1. Yeah. And judging by how she's focusing a lot on attack and defense and probably speed, her resistance stat is probably going to be low. And because she's a flyer, she's easily countered by archer units if she does not have Iot Shield on her Sacred Seal. But if she does, then it's going to be harder to take her out. But in order to do that, in order for her to be effective, players probably won't run any distant counter skills on her A slot, so that they can focus on buffing her attack and defense as much as they can. Okay. Which means that she's basically a free target for any red or green mage units, even blue units that have high attack. But that being said, her weapon plays probably the same way as Morgan does, where she needs buffs on herself and debuffs on the enemy to proc a lot of these effects. Yeah. And she has a lot of guaranteed follow-up. Foe cannot make follow-up, and she has increased cooldown charge, well, decreasing the cooldown charge on the enemy. So it's exactly the same way Morgan plays, except it's attack and defense focus instead of attack and res. That being said, she probably is the weakest unit on this banner so far because she's green axe unit, and there are a lot of red units that can probably tank the shit out of her and not have any worries. Okay. Yeah, she's probably my vote for the weakest unit on this banner, despite having a lot of good tools on her hand. That doesn't mean she's bad, but she's probably the weakest.
Sounds good. All right, let's look at the animation and then move on to the last hero on the banner. Now we gotta keep in mind that she's flying too, right?
Yeah, that's why I said she's easily countered by archers that can double, particularly Leaf or any other, or flying Hinoka.
Alright, so...
Alright, aside from being the biggest spoiler unit on this banner, this version of Aleguard seems to be the highlight of this banner, because judging by how much skill she has, just like her legendary self, she has armored stride, which means that as long as no one is next to her, she has basically unparalleled mobility. Not to the point of her brave alternative, but it still means that she can move around basically over almost any terrain without being inhibited as an armored unit. Her weapon revolves a lot around basically, she has Wary Fighter on her weapon, which prevents any follow-up attack from her side and the enemy side, which is it's kind of weird. I'd expect that she'd get a guaranteed follow-up attack, but it seems like both units can only gain one attack each, which probably helps with her tanking, because she does inflict -6 for attack and defense, basically decreasing the enemy's attack output while also increasing their ability to tank. And then combined with her attack defense ideal 4, which is a new branch of skills that are coming out recently, she's going to have amazing tanking abilities on her defense, but also a lot of, attack output, because her weapon and her skills are boosting that. And keep in mind, she is a beast armored unit, not just a regular armored unit, so that means she needs to be near beast allies or dragon allies, or just by herself to transform. So if you can take advantage of that, you can probably nail her, because a lot of beast units tend to, or they always perform better when they're transformed. But looking at her B skill, which is a personal skill for her, just like Dimitri has, it basically seems like Special Fighter, which is an armor unique skill. For every attack she does, she gains accelerated cooldowns for her special, while any enemy attack on her slows them down. But at the same time, she also gains 7 HP after combat, which will probably help to keep the requirement for attack defense ideal 4, which requires her to have 100 HP or have an active bonus on herself. But it also says that during unit's first combat and player phase or enemy phase, or if unit is transformed where HP is above 25%, she reduces damage from foe's first attack by 40%. So that is a hefty HP, damage nullification skill. But that's only for her first combat, so she's going to be really scary when you fight her for the first time. But subsequent engagements will make her a bit weaker. And the thing is, the follow-up prevention, like Wary Fighter and all these things, can all be countered by null follow-up, or if you have any skills like Dragon's Ire, or even Mer's personal weapon skill that prevents units from disabling follow-up attacks. But then again, after that, all that becomes a speed check afterwards. But in judging by this Aleguard who can only attack once, she's going to have really low speed. But keep in mind that her defense and resistance is probably going to be really high. Your best bet at probably fighting her, because she can't... Oh, she also this is really huge. She basically gains distant counter once she transforms.
Okay.
So if you can attack her before she transforms with any mage units that have anti-armor magic, that'll probably be your best bet.
Okay.
But once she transforms, it's gonna be really hard to get a unit that can probably tank her all the way through. It's gonna be a very slow battle because she has Wary Fighter on. But as I said, if you have anything that can nullify those follow-up prevention skills, then you'll probably not have a hard time. But she is really scary because she's gonna probably have defense and attack stats through the roof. We don't know her IVs yet, but it's gonna be pretty high.
Yeah.
Then again, because if she is an armored unit with armored stride, so she's gonna have a lot of abilities. So yeah, she is probably the highlight of this banner, right ahead of Dimitri. So yeah, she's gonna be very scary to deal with in all the variety of modes that we face. Basically, every version of Aleguard, except for her original version that she debuted with, are all a pain in the ass, and this is looking no different.
All right, sounds good. Okay, let's look at the my favorite animation of this banner.
And whether this is the biggest spoiler of the game.
All right. What is this extra bonus?
Basically, if you spark, if you get 40 summons on a banner, you get that item, and if you collect enough, you can use it to redeem certain items like Forma Souls or trait fruits, stuff like that.
Okay.
It's only going to be useful for people who had a lot of orbs to use.
So if we're looking at this right here, they're saying that after 40th summon, you get to choose one for free, right?
You get a guaranteed free unit.
All right, so is that new or?
It's a feature that's been out for a while now.
Okay.
They implemented it, I think, last year. I'm not sure exactly, but it's been a while. It's been in the game for a while now.
Is that
It's a bonus that's only been applied to story banners. So seasonals and like special banners like that don't really get this. Only the story-related banners get this free summon thing.
Okay, sounds good. Well, 40 summons, that's like what, 200 orbs? If you do the fives, all five.
If you do a full pull, which is 20, that's 5. So 5 pulls, 20. I think someone calculated it, excluding the first free pull that you get because it's the what is it? So every new banner that comes out has a guaranteed free pull.
Okay.
And then it has an associated event called Forging Bonds, which gives you 4 summoning tickets that you can redeem for free first pulls, like we just got for the Golden Week banner. So calculating all that, people have estimated that it's going to take about not 200 orbs, but 150, give or take, if you want to get to the 40 summon focus.
And that's if you pull all 5 of them, right?
Yes, if you want to be economical about it and do full circle pulls every single time through. That's only if you absolutely want the 5-star focus. If you're sniping for a certain character and only pull certain colors, you're definitely going to end up pulling, or basically needing more orbs to get to this 40th summon barrier.
So if we're talking like, if we're doing like just the orbs without all the free summon, it should be like what, 250, right? Because it's 5. 200 is exactly 200, right?
It's exactly 200, but given it depends on how you're sniping and stuff like that, so it could be, max is gonna be 200 for sure, but it's always gonna be less than that because we get summoning tickets.
All right, sounds good. Well, this banner is coming out in 2 days, 3 days, 3 days.
Tomorrow is the update, so we're probably going to get, during the maintenance period, we're probably gonna get all these characters patched in. And in that time, the people on Reddit or whatnot will probably run a data mine of what was added to the game, so we can check out their IVs, see what their stats are. But based on what we saw, I'm pretty sure Dimitri's going to be attack speed focused. Aleguard and Morgan are probably going to have really low speed but high attack and what is it?
Res and defense, right?
Yeah, res and defense stats respectively to accommodate their playstyles. Morgan, she's still up in the air because she has attack speed solo 4 as her A skill, and is focusing a lot on debuffing the enemy's attack and defense. But given that she doubled her enemy in her showcase, she probably will have respectable speed. Not exactly sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we were to rank these heroes based on threat level, or basically how good they are, off the bat, I'd say Aleguard's first, then Dimitri, then Morgan, and then male Morgan, and then female Morgan. Female Morgan being probably the weakest unit on this banner.
All right.
So yeah, that is not to say that they're not good. They're probably all really good and probably have a lot of stats, because we're on generation 5 right now, which means they get a lot more stats compared to earlier units that we got in book 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, we're gonna see a lot of Dimitris and Aleguards in the future. Not so sure about the Morgans, but they're there, so they're probably gonna be a threat, but they're not gonna be as popular as Morgan. They're not probably not gonna be as popular as Aleguard or Dimitri.
Sounds good. All right. Well, I think that's a good run through of the new characters that are coming out. Thanks for all the information. It definitely helps without knowing all the all the characters that has been out, since the game has started, since I took a long break from it. But yeah, we'll definitely do more more of these videos once we get the characters, and then kind of see their IVs and their stats and all that stuff. So, and then definitely getting updated from all the Reddit posts and stuff like that. So, all right, well, thanks Sam for the information again, and then
my pleasure.
We'll be back again, guys, when the characters are released, and then we'll be doing some pulls. I still have a free account, so I have a bunch of wars to get, so I should be able to at least get one guaranteed one, so know that about that. But thanks for watching once again, guys, and thank you Sam once again, and then I'll see you guys next time.